It's bad, fam. It's real bad. I'm mad, and I don't know who I'm mad at, but I'm mad at everything. I'm mad that it's Sunday. I'm mad that it's cold outside. I'm mad that we lost. Hell, I'm even mad that I turn on football night in America after the game, and who do I see with this, you know what, eating grin? Jason freaking Garrett. It's bad, fam. It's bad. And I don't know who's to blame the most for this. Um, but everybody can get it today. And this thing don't get no better down the road. I'm not one for pushing the panic button, but you be daggum sure I'll be knowing where the heck it's at. Y'all want to talk about it? Let's talk. What's good, fam? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house, back in the saddle, one more again. Uh, Cowboys take a disturbing loss, 31-28 in overtime to Aaron freaking Rodgers. And I have to keep myself from cursing on live air because that's something I will not do. But I really want to. You know what I'm saying? Please hit that like, comment, and subscribe and become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Yeah, that crawl says it all. Cowboys lose 31-28 overtime to Aaron Rodgers again. He stabs a hole in our heart again. He gets to run off and smirk and talk junk on the Pat McAfee show again. And I'm not really sure who I'm mad at the most because let me get some more light in here. Yeah. I mean, let's talk about. Let's just look at the game, man. I mean, we ain't gonna be here long. Just but I ain't gonna run when we lose, and I'm gonna talk my junk when we win, and I'm gonna face the music when we lose. All right, but this is a loss. It's hard to stomach because we'll get into that in a minute. But the game started off slow. We couldn't get nothing going initially. Then finally we go on a 15-play, 8.5-minute drive. We got a 3-yard touchdown pass to CD Lamb and 7-0. Then we get a strip sack on Aaron Rodgers. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, yeah, get jiggy with it. I'm like, yeah, let's get this thing. And then 3rd and goal, Dak over the middle. I don't know what and it gets intercepted. And I know you had both CD Lamb and Dalton Schultz both coming from the left to the right on crossing routes. Somehow somebody didn't get to where they were supposed to have gotten by the time that the pass was supposed to have gotten there. It was like a time and play. And it was picked by the same dude. Shoot, give me a second. I'll come up with his name. Yeah, his name was no, it wasn't Sharon. What was that dude's name? Number 20. I know that. It was number 20. That's all I know. That dude got both of them. He got both of the interceptions. And I don't see his name here. Yeah, Jonathan Ford. That's him, Jonathan Ford. And when they went to the sideline, you saw Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb both kind of having a little thing. Yes, man, whatever. You saw this, whatever. And that's whole thing with crossing routes is getting to be a thing. We don't seem to be knowing what we're supposed to be doing on crossing routes, how we're supposed to cross the field, what positioning we're supposed to be, and so it always seems to end up in an interception. Okay. But as the quarterback, and I know I rolls with number 4, got number 4 sitting right here. You make the most money, dude, you cannot throw an interception in the end zone. I gives you know what? You cannot throw an interception in the end zone. If nothing else fails, throw that thing into the 5th row, throw it between the uprights, and we'll just kick the field goal and it's up 10-0. But no, you throw a pick, okay? It get returned to like the 35-yard line, and they go on and they get a touchdown. 58 yards to Christian Watson, and it's 7-7. Just like that. And the whole momentum of the game is shifted because of that. And then later in the game, in the second quarter, going over the middle on 3rd and 10, I don't know what it is with CeeDee Lamb and crossing routes, but him and crossing routes don't agree because he crossed behind Jonathan Ford again, got it picked, and it got ran back to like the 35-yard line. Okay. A couple of plays later, touchdown Packers. Okay. It's 14-7. With about a minute and a half left before halftime. And I like that Dak went 75 yards, hit Dalton Schultz on a 5-yard touchdown pass. And it's 14 and a half. So I'm like, okay, we got 2 interceptions. Not 1, but 2 interceptions. We didn't let Christian Watson get behind, and that sort of thing. And then, but it's 14 and a half. I mean, the third quarter was our quarter, man. We went and did our thing, scored 2 touchdowns, got a turnover on a kick return off of Rodgers. And Tony Pollard up the middle, 13 yards, touchdown, 21-14. Stop them, get a sack, get the ball back. 35 yards, CeeDee Lamb, touchdown. It's 28-14. Now I'm like, yeah, we fixing to blow this thing wide open. And then we don't. Then we don't score again, and we let them go on a 17-0 run, 14-0 run. We go to overtime. We get the ball. We don't do nothing with it. We make an ill-fated, call or whatever, and they get it. They go down, kick a field goal, and win the game 31-28. So, who's really to blame here? Okay. And I mean, it's a game where you can start with say, is the offense? The offense was not great, but it wasn't terrible. And that's the thing. It wasn't great and it wasn't terrible. It was great in parts, and then it was like not good in parts. It was great in parts and then not great when it needed to be great in order to sustain the drive and keep the football or whatever. And it wasn't great. I mean, Dak was okay. He was able to overcome the 2 ill-fated picks. And like I said, the second pick, I'm gonna make that CeeDee Lamb's fault, because somehow on crossing routes, he seems to always want to go around behind the defender. And I was always taught that when you're doing crossing routes, you go across the defender's face. He goes behind the defender. And the quarterback is thinking he's going across, and he throws it there, and he's behind, and the guy can cut the pass off for an interception. And that's what he did. Okay. The first one I got to put on Dak. I mean, there was some problems on the crossing route too, but Dak, you can't throw that interception in the end zone. You just can't, So the offense was, I mean, it was good, but not when it was good. It was good, but it wasn't great. I mean, Dak was 27 for 46. I still think that's way too many throws. I mean, you want to keep Dak's throws around 35, and under. I understand we went to overtime and he threw it about 7 or 8 times in overtime, 6, 7, 8 times in overtime. So that makes it might have been 38 going into overtime. Whatever. 265 yards, 3 touchdowns, and there's 2 costly picks. One led to a touchdown. The other one took a touchdown or a field goal off the board. And they wouldn't got a touchdown on that one too. Of course, now we got a touchdown on that punt return in a fumble. So the turnovers kind of balanced themselves out because Aaron Rodgers had a turnover, but they got it back, and then we got a turnover on a kick return. Now, if we'd have turned that one into a touchdown where Aaron Rodgers fumbled it, and then he got his hand hit too. But yeah, give him his props because he came back because he looked like he's gonna cry. When I think it was Dorrance Armstrong. No, it was Sam Williams. That's who it was who came and sacked him. But the offense was good, but not good enough. It wasn't good in the first quarter, good in the second and third, not good in the fourth. The 2 or 3 possessions we had in the fourth quarter, we couldn't sustain, get a couple of first round. We would get a couple of first downs and didn't have to punt. And then somehow, we'll get to that. So, and then, of course, Zeke was out again today, nursing that knee hyperextension or what have you, which is fine. I'm all for that because, Malik Davis filled in admirably for him. He did admirably on a cross block on a passing play, which I know Pollard ain't trying to do that. So, so if he do nothing else, he knows how to block, But he had a couple of nice runs. Tony Pollard, 22 carries, 115 yards and a touchdown, 5.2 yards a carry. Most carries he's ever had. Because I don't think he's carried the ball more than 15, 16 times since high school. I heard that from Nick Wright on First Things First. He mentioned that nowhere in his college and high school, he never ran the ball more than, and in college, remember, he was a receiver. He wasn't a running back. He was a receiver / he was kind of like Austin Eckler, if you will, from the Chargers, who they're on right now. Looking pretty good, actually. I got San Francisco winning that one, but who am I? Malik Davis did fine. 5 carries, 38 yards, no touchdown, 7.6 yards a carry. Cowboys had 150 yards, 159 yards rushing. So, like I said, Dak missed some throws here and there. I thought a couple of times Dak got sacked or got rushed when he didn't need to be rushed. I thought we were creative early, especially on that drive we scored the touchdown early in the game. Dak, had about 3 quarterback draws where he got first downs on 4th and 1s and just drove the ball. Excuse me. For a first down, and I like his leg drive and everything on that. But when push came to shove late in the game, in the fourth quarter, when I thought we needed a couple of first downs just to keep them, I thought we couldn't get them. I thought we ran the ball enough, but not in crucial times. And I thought many times and then a lot of times I thought Dak bailed on some throws and got panicked and moved and ran into getting hit and losing the ball and throwing it early instead of stepping up in the pocket and just, let's just say it. Connor McGovern was not good today because all of the pressure that seemed to come up was against him. Because I know Jaron Reed was in on us on a lot of plays, and he kind of got a lot of his inside rushes off of him. So, yeah, Connor McGovern, who had been pretty good up and down. I don't know what Jason Peters is, but I would have played him today with Connor McGovern looking as bad as he did. So, offense was good, but not good enough. I'm mad, but they would get a C, all right, if we was looking at it, okay? The defense, look, they got a couple of sacks, early. Got a strip sack, but for the most part, the Packers ended up with like 400 yards, 415 yards of offense. We ain't giving up 400 yards in a long time. That's a lot of yards for a team that scored 9 points last week. to the Lions. Okay. And to show you how when you make one bad thing, a bad decision, and like I said, coaching goes into this also, and I'm gonna mention that. But on the touchdown that Christian Watson scored in the second quarter when they went up 7-0, you had Anthony Brown in tight press man coverage against Christian Watson. And why I think that's a problem, it was third down too, if I'm not mistaken. And why I think that was a problem is, I'm not a football expert, but I do know that when you in a tight press man coverage, you like all up in him, and you trying to get a jam on the line of scrimmage, you're supposed to be able to jam him, reroute his route, make his timing of his route running off. And it's also supposed to be done with a corner that's got, some sort of clout that he knows, oh no, I ain't worried about you beating me deep. So I'm going to jam you at the line of scrimmage and then run with you. Anthony Brown, look, I love Anthony Brown because he's one of ours, but he's a, okay, good corner. We've been looking to replace him in the draft, last couple of years. He's okay, not great. And I know Christian Watson only had 10 catches coming in here, but that dude's 6'2", 6'3", 215 pounds, and runs a 4.3. So he's way bigger than you. Why did you think you could just jam him and him not, knock you off of your stance and then get behind you? Because once he got behind him, he was toast. And then when he tried to make the tackle, he got slung to the ground and hit his head on the turf, on the grass, and was out for the rest of the game. So sometimes when you do stuff, as my dad used to say, ASS backwards, or it was ill-conceived, it just compounds the thing. Just like throwing the end zone interception. It compounds the thing when you do stupid things at stupid times. No, he had no business. If anything, if it's 3rd and 7, I'm playing the sticks. I'm going to give you 6-7 yards because you could run by me. I'm not playing press man on you. I'm going to back off and just run with you. And he got burnt. Okay, and then that compounded the thing because now you playing Kelvin Joseph and you playing Deron Bland now. Okay, and so no, if I'm grading the defense, I mean it was good in the first quarter, good in a little bit in the third quarter, but bad in the fourth quarter. Okay, because we gave up another 200-yard rushing game. Packers had 207 yards rushing. So that's back-to-back 200-yard rushing games that we've given up to the Bears. I think they had 240, and the Packers had 207. Now, I'm not going to give nobody no breaks on this because you know why? We had an entire week off to work on our run fits, to work on our gap control. And what did you do? Okay. It's just like I said, you had a week off. You had time to prepare for anything. When you got a week off, you got to buy. I expect you to know what the other team is eating for breakfast. That's what I expect. I expect you to know what they ate for breakfast. That's how well I expect you to have scouted them and watched every slide of film study. I expect you to know all of that stuff. Okay, and and then was time to it when it was time, and many times when Aaron Rodgers wasn't nobody open, he wasn't pressured. They couldn't get pressured when they should have. When it was 28-14, I don't know. Silly me thought that, okay, shoot, we got a 2-touchdown lead, man. We can just let Micah loose and let him pin his ears back, and we coming, baby. We coming, and we couldn't get there. We couldn't get there. Right? Michael was going out for this little injury and coming back in. They had him in off ball and coverage and stuff. I'm like, what are we doing here? Okay, so no, the offense gets a C, defense gets a D because we get 207 yards. Let's see individually. Let's see here. Aaron Jones, 24 carries, 138 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Dillon, 13 carries, 65 yards. So So anyway, offense, yes. Offense, yes. Problem, yes. Defense, yes. Defense, yes. Officiating, well, I'm gonna go coaching. Yes, I'm gonna go coaching. Now I like the coaching early. I like the aggressiveness early. Going for the fourth downs when we was on a good drive. We was on a good drive. Like I said, we had a 15-play drive, a lot of little misdirection plays. I saw even Dak he didn't take the snap, but he went on like he was on a end around, and it went the other way. And I said, one of these times Dak gonna keep that and run on around. And then a lot of the running plays, they ran it, and he acted like he was gonna hand it to the back, gonna take it, but he handed it to the back and rolled his back. And I thought a couple of them Dak should have kept it and got 8-9 yards off of that, just to make them keep them honest that, oh no, Dak ain't giving the ball up. He's gonna keep it, or Dak's not giving the ball up. He's or he's going to give the ball up, whatever. I just think once every 3 or 4 times you got to keep that just to keep the defense honest, because they don't know which way you're going. And I thought that a couple of times Dak could have kept that and got 7 or 8 yards, but he gave it to Malik Davis or gave it to Tony Pollard, and they got 3 yards, and I think Dak could have got 7, 8, or 9 yards in the first down. So it's just little things like that. So I thought our coaching was good. I thought we got a little cute with some of those. But late in the game, defensively, I thought with our corners down, especially when Anthony Brown went down, I thought we managed to went to a zone or something, because I don't like Kelvin Joseph as your number 2 corner. That he got burnt later again on a 38-yard touchdown pass, but really that was Deron Bland, and they had him covering on the slot when they did a release switch, and he had to pick him up on a dead run, and he just ran right by him for a 38-yard touchdown. And then he got a 7-yard touchdown later in the fourth quarter to tie the game up. But yeah, our adjustments. So Dan Quinn, Kellen Moore, none of their adjustments. When the game started to get tight, weren't good. And so yeah, the coaching gets a D also. They was getting a B plus for the early part of the game, but the fourth quarter and overtime, I give them a D, because I didn't like. I mean, I understand that why you went for it on 4th down and 3, 4th and 4 in overtime, because I felt like if you tried the field goal and don't get it, you basically giving them the ball in midfield and a couple of first downs, and they would basically get what they got anyway. If you made it, they could still get it. They could tie it up or win it with a touchdown. So, and it just wasn't a good play. Dak got pressure, and he had to move up, and he just had to fling the ball out of there to CD, and So I mean, what are you gonna do there? I mean, I would have liked some different play calls earlier in that down, but we didn't get it. So I got to give them a D on that, because I just didn't like how some of the things. I just didn't like our adjustments. I didn't think they had us ready. I think when we got the 28-14 lead, I think we should have been, look, hey, let's close this game out. And I think we felt like they was going to lay down, and you forgot that was number 12. Okay. Officiating. Wasn't a lot of penalties. It was 9, but it was just a couple of late ones. A couple of them was like stupid, like calling Jalen Tolbert for an offside, and I'm sitting there like, dude, how you line up offside? Defensively, you can see that happening. Not offensively. As a receiver, and I'm like, yeah, he's not ready. He did get to play some, but Noah Brown's not 100%. I don't know what James Washington is. I was thinking he's gonna get to play some. Season gonna be over in a little bit. He ain't played none, but whatever. But I heard Cowboy Fan Talk. I'll listen to his live stream about an hour or so, and I want to get what his perspective is. And of course, we different people, but we kind of saw it the same way. And we don't like to whine about the officiating. Although I do realize that Micah gets held on every play, but I kind of was sort of like okay with them not calling it every time, because I felt like, okay, well, at least they're not calling us on our offensive line, and we getting good runs. They're not calling holdings. But in overtime, I thought they called a chinky one on McGovern. And we had a nice drive going that made us have to made that fourth down because that was a first down run by Malik Davis. And they called a holding. And I'm like, not, I mean, that's hand-to-hand combat. That's something that go on in every play. You gonna pick that one out, the call, and I'm like, okay, you gonna start calling it tight. Okay, fine. And then on third down, CeeDee Lamb obviously gets handled before the ball gets there, and he's looking up for the flag, and there's no flag coming. And I'm like, well, dude, 2 plays ago, you just called it tight on the holding play, and I thought that was a tight call or whatever. So, I mean, you calling it tight, and obviously, with the game CeeDee Lamb was having, CeeDee Lamb had probably the best game he's had as a Dallas Cowboy. CeeDee Lamb, 11 catches, 150 yards, 2 tubs. Best game I remember him having as a Cowboy. Setting aside the crossing pattern he ran behind Jonathan Cooper or whatever his name is, and the end zone interception. But he played a nice game. I had to give it up when people do what kind of what I've been waiting for them to do. He gave that to me today, and but I thought with the game he had today, he earned that call. I felt like he earned that call, and he didn't get that call, and then made it fourth down, and then we didn't get the fourth down, and they made some plays, and I'm like, man, you gave us the holding call, and that took them. We could have just kept the ball and just ran and the holding. People don't understand holding calls are the most debilitating calls a ref can make against an offense because it just takes you completely out of it. Because it's a 10-yard penalty, and I didn't like that. I didn't like it. I think for the most part, the officiating wasn't too bad. I thought they gave Dak a chinky intentional grounding penalty when he was under pressure, because I thought he threw it, but it was Terrence Steele, but he couldn't see that it was Terrence Steele because Jaron Reed was between him and him. He just saw white. So it ain't like he could look to the side. Hold on, let me look behind you and see if that's a receiver. He saw white and he threw it over in his direction. He can't read his number. He can't look through a 300-pound dude. But they gave him that, but we was able to get a first down off of that. But no, I didn't. I mean, the refereeing, the officiating, I probably get him a C minus, C plus, C minus. It wasn't great, wasn't terrible. I didn't like that holding call. I would have been fine not calling off the pass interference if you just don't call that holding call, and we just kind of move down the field and take up a little more time off the clock and maybe kick our field goal or at least get the touchdown. But I think we was on our way to something, and that holding call just really came out of nowhere. Okay. Front office, they can get some too because they've been arrogant all year. We don't need no wide receivers. We're going to get some middle-level guys. We got James Washington, and there was guys to be had. We could have got Jarvis Landry. We could have got some other guys. You didn't want to spend the money. I get it because, guys going to want money next year. I understand that. But we got to worry about this year and let next year fall when next year comes. We can do what we want to do next year. You can always go back to Dak and ask Dak, let's move some money around so we can do this. He's going to do it because he's making $40 million. His cap hit is $49 million. He's going to want to help because if you don't get him no help and we go 5-12, he's, people going to be looking at him. People already coming in him already, So, yeah, offense, good, not good enough. Defense, good in spots. Many times wasn't good enough. Coaching, didn't make enough adjustments. Officiating, I think you jobbed us on a couple late. And ownership, I think he was a little arrogant. Go on and get OBJ. Go on and get him. Whatever you got to do to get him, give him a 2-year, $15 million contract and work it out where maybe CeeDee Lamb takes a $7 million less next year that we can make the thing balance out or whatever. Go and get him. That way we got a little more flexibility in our receiving core because we obviously don't have nobody that can get behind people. We ain't got no Christian Watson on our staff. Okay, so we lose the game, give up 400 yards, inefficient when we needed to be efficient offensively, bad coaching, and so officiating and whatnot, and so we lose. So, looking ahead, and like I said in my little teaser, I'm not one with 7 games left to play to be hitting the panic button. But I'll be trying to find where it is, make sure it's in reach, make sure I can get my hands on it just in case. It's a bad thing to be looking for something and don't know where it's at. All right. That's a bad thing to not know where it's at. I'll be looking for it right about now. And the reason I say that is looking ahead. You know who we got next Sunday? We got the Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota. So basically, we went to NFC North in order: the Lions, the Bears, the Packers, and the Vikings. Yeah. And we kind of doing them in stepping order too, the worst to the best. And did you see them today? Did you see it? And you telling me right now, with the way our secondary playing, with the way our run game is playing, we got Darwin Cook and Alexander Madison. And they licking their chops because they seen Aaron Jones go for 138, and they seen AJ Dillon go for 100 and go for 65, and they saw last week they saw Herbert go for 100. They looking like, ooh, they got 200. Man, we know we can get 200. And they saw Christian Watson, who had 10 catches coming in today, go for four catches for $109 and 3 touchdowns. He did it on the side. I knew Christian Watson was talented. I was not scouting him, but before the draft, I was looking at guys and stuff like that. And I thought that might be a guy we could get in the second round, but but we went with Sam Williams. But I thought we could have got him instead of getting Jalen Tolbert. But whatever, man. Who am I, man? I mean, do what you do, man. Do what you do. Sam Williams will turn out to be a good player too. So I mean, you can't really, but I know we need receivers and we had pass rushers. So So yeah, we got the Vikings coming, and Justin Jefferson, Thielen, KJ Osborne, looking at that secondary, looking how Aaron Rodgers and his receivers ain't even on the right page, and they torched us late. What you think, Justin? Did you see Justin Jefferson today against the Bills? Did you see that one-handed catch he snagged today? He recovered that 4th down catch he made, and then when they was in overtime, that one he made along the sidelines. Ooh. You saw that? Okay. If you saw that, and you seen we got Trayvon Diggs, and you got, I don't know how, if Anthony Brown is in concussion protocol, if he's going to be able to play next week or not, and you got to go into a game against Justin Jefferson with Joseph and Deron Bland, who I like is a slot corner, because Jordan Lewis is out for the season with a Liz Frank injury. But I saw one play where Lazard swiped Bland to the side and did that deep slant route and got like 19 yards on it. And I'm like, ooh, man, our secondary not looking good right now. And you got Justin Jefferson, Allen Thielen, and KJ Osborne coming up, and they got TJ Hawkinson too. Yeah, and like I said, we better fix that. And then looking ahead, we got 4 days. We got 4 days off from that, and we got to play Saquon Barkley. Did you see the Giants today? Okay, I know they beat the Texans, but they're 7-2. We 6-3. Okay, you don't think they want to avenge that one loss they had to us early? And the only reason they lost the game to the Seahawks because my man James, what's his name? James fumbled 2 kickoffs, and they might be 8-1 too, just like the Vikings. All right. And somewhere down the line, we gotta play Derrick Henry. You know what Derrick Henry does to good defensive running team, run defense teams. And then a week or two later after that, on Christmas Eve, we got the Eagles. And you know how they like to run the ball. So, man, I don't know what we got to do. We had a week off and didn't get it fixed. And they still hit us for two bills, 207. I don't know what you got to do, man. I don't know what you got to do. I don't know what you got to do to stay in your right run gap lanes. I don't know what you got to do to for your gap control, or not getting pushed out the hole and just holding your. I don't know what you got to do. But if y'all don't fix something, man, this thing gonna get away from us real quick. Okay, real quick. So everybody's getting it today. I'm just mad and I'm just frustrated because that's a loss. We had a week off to prepare for, and I'm like, man, you should be doing everything they're gonna do. And we laid an egg. We didn't do nothing well enough to win that game. Nothing well enough. Played offense well enough for in times, but not enough to win. Defense good in spurts. Got some stops at certain points, but when you had to have it, man, we couldn't stop nobody. Okay, so nothing we did was good enough when we needed to have it. So. I don't know, but it's not looking good, fam. And I know a good win next week against a good Minnesota Vikings team at Minnesota will cure all of that, and I'll forget all I said today. But looking at what they did today against a good Buffalo Bills team, a good Buffalo Bills team. A lot of people got in the Super Bowl, and they went up to Buffalo and beat them outside in the cold. And I say Minnesota in the cold because they play in a dome. Don't know. But that's all I got, man, from the desk. Uncle Fred. Cowboys lose 31-28 in overtime. It's a loss that have your head scratching. It's a loss that really have you doubting what the rest of the season is going to look like. And as a Cowboy fan, if you're a little concerned about the season, you should be. You got reason to be. But whichever way it go, I'm rolling with the Cowboys either way. And I'm going to be here to talk to y'all about it as the weeks come. But that's all I got from the desk, Uncle Fred. Please like, comment, subscribe, become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. Guarantee you will not be disappointed. We'll catch you guys on the next video.